Let's go ahead and jump right into the content. So what I want to talk to you guys about today for our discussion is going to be this tweet that I saw from Joshua Schmidt, world champion, competitor, professional Yu-Gi-Oh player, now streamer and YouTuber. If you guys aren't following him on YouTube or Twitch, I do recommend it. It's a Joshua Schmidt YGO on Twitch, and then YouTube, it's if you go to Twitter, I think he probably has links to his videos and stuff. Better sources of information as far as like the way to and ability to explain top information from Yu-Gi-Oh. So I think Joshua Schmidt's a great resource for that. Highly recommend it. And it not only is it going to make you better at the TCG, it'll also make you better at Master Duel. Anyways, Joshua Schmidt made this tweet. He had this tweet that said, another month has passed without motivation to reach Diamond 1 in Master Duel. Oh well, maybe next month. Shrugging white man. The interesting part, I think, about this is a few things. This tweet kind of encompasses a lot of what I think a lot of people feel about Yu-Gi-Oh, not only inside of the TCG, but also inside of Master Duel. There's just some things that are the motivation for players to play, specifically a lot of good top players and a lot of players who have long-term played Yu-Gi-Oh are just kind of suffering right now. They're not really looking forward to playing the game. And if you guys follow me on Twitter, you guys know, at Swolelax, you guys know that I tweeted out this right here in response, saying, actually though, there's no incentive to reach the top rank pretty much ever. The gems are nice and the pride is there, but it's not like you won't get the extra gems somewhere else. A leaderboard or a bigger reward for reaching top rank is 100% needed. And some great replies from you guys talking about how King of Games is much more satisfying from our boy Lee. Hey, Nick, you're down here too, getting King of Games with Evil Heroes, which feels pretty cool. And the only field to rank up to play non-meta decks for fun and rank up. Why are so many people not down to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel right now? I mean, people are probably down to play, but like we said in the last discussion, a lot of people have dropped off from playing from its initial release, which happens, and the hype train kind of dies down and your diehard players come on. But there's a few different reasons. There's not a lot of game modes that a lot of more casual audiences or even content creators or hardcore players can really latch onto. The events once a month or so are fun, but they haven't been that great. And so what you have left to do is grind for rank, is grind for the top rank in Master Duel. Previously, before Diamond 1, it was Plat 1, which frankly was not very, I would say easy, not very hard to get to. Sometimes you had really good games, but just like any other online game where you're playing for ELO, you're gonna hit some people who just straight up are boosted and don't know what they're doing, which happens. And that's part of the reason why this, getting to top rank means ultimately nothing. It means ultimately nothing. It's a combination of the ban list, the decks that are playable at the top level, who is playing what and when and why. At the end of the day as well, outside of just the fact that like hype has kind of died down for the game, getting Diamond 1 and getting Diamond 1 inside of Master Duel means zilch. It really does. It really does. It's nice to have, especially on the resume, like your little 5 duelist things, like your past seasons. And it's cool to say that you get it with a rogue deck, like your fun deck. And it's also fine to say that you got it with Sword Soul or Halko-Rorodon shenanigans, Eldlik. Like it's very possible to do it with any of them. Like if we go to everyone's favorite legal cheating site, Master Duel Meta, you can see that Diamond 1 decks, over 146 reported Diamond 1 decks inside this thing. 146, that's incredible. And they still have tiers. They have Adventure Prank Kids, they have Tenny Sword Soul, Floan Rees. This is in Virtual World. Virtual World's tier 2. That's amazing. But like outside of this, right? Like this is kind of the reason why Diamond 1 also is kind of a joke. It kind of means nothing. It's just a nice little badge and an extra couple gems to have every season. Without the over explanation of how these systems work and your ELO system or your hidden rank, other things, at the end of the day, it's just a math question. If you're playing a deck that can win 51% or 50.8 or 50.7 over 50% of decks of games, rather, your deck can win over 50% of games, then you'll rank up. It just depends on how long it takes you to rank up. So for example, something on this list, for example, that might be a little bit lower, like Moonlight Raid Raptor, or Gadget, for example, that reached Diamond 1, they might have a longer time reaching Diamond 1 versus something like Adventure Prank Kid, which is where we get like the tiers technically for online ladder, the characters, the decks, the agents that are good for grinding rank. But at the end of the day, it's such a low bar of entry into the higher echelon of high elo players that you could play pretty much whatever as long as it's not garbage. I see an Ultra Athletes one in the bottom corner there. That's incredible. And we do know that they've data mined higher ranks inside of Master Duel, that Diamond 1 isn't the end all be all, but the problem is that we don't have a way to tell if the system is going to remain how it is, that when we eventually get those higher ranks, when we eventually get those 2 higher tiers above Diamond, maybe 1, maybe 2, who knows yet, then what else will be there? Is it just gonna be gems? Is it gonna be exclusive cosmetics, exclusive titles, exclusive badges, artwork? Like, so far we know that we have nothing on there. So where's the motivation to climb Diamond 1? We have no motivation to go Diamond 1. These top ranks aren't here inside of Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel yet. We aren't getting new cosmetics. The battle pass takes like a week to get maximum. It's really not good. All this stuff is to say that getting to Diamond 1, even if you have the motivation to do it, is only fueled by, that's right, gems. And really, if you get to Diamond 5, which is the tier of rank that you're in, but not the same like rank, you're not the first one, you're missing out on 400 gems, which is really not that much. It really isn't. And you can make that back with your dailies plus some every single time. You're missing out on 400 gems. It's really not that big of a deal. What can we do at least about our favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Online simulator, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel? How can we fix the ranked system to make people want to play? Well, unfortunately, we don't have to do what Duel Links did and make it harder. Duel Links climb, I think, is actually legitimately harder, which is potentially why it's more rewarding. Keep on like messing with my hair. We don't have to do what Duel Links did and make it harder. Getting to King of Games inside of Duel Links is pretty hard. It's much harder than Master Duel. I will say that for sure. But we don't have to do that. Instead, you shouldn't do that. Still make it just as easy to get up to those ranks. However, add incentives. Add good incentives. A leaderboard so people can climb even when they get to the top rank. When they get to Diamond 1, they want to be the best in the world. Other like point systems where you can get higher inside of its own rank. Again, that's a show of skill and a show that you are good. You're legitimately good at the top echelon of players. Really simple stuff. Really simple stuff that shows your players that you are the best, that you're the king of games. That's the whole point of Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Is about the duel. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is about winning the duel and having fun and playing with your friends and the anime and the combos and the cool cards and all the children of the world joining hands and singing in the spirit of peace and harmony. But it's also about showing that you're the best. So if there's a ladder or a incentive to show that you are the best, people will want to climb and say, hey, I got to the number 1, I'm the number 1 duelist in the world. That's crazy. Maybe there needs to be a tournament structure and a way to worlds from that. Maybe if you're top 10 of the leaderboards after a certain time period, hey, you get to go to worlds. That will maybe promote different and probably worse. Now I'm really thinking about it. Nope, strike that. Don't do that. But at the same time, we need something like that to motivate players to play past Diamond 1 and to really try to get good at Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. Even if you don't do that, let's say you don't do that, offer incentives, exclusive cosmetics like banners or titles, maybe a lot of gems, not just 100 gems or 200 gems, maybe make it like 1,000 gems or 2,000 gems. make it worthwhile for someone to try to get to that rank. And ultimately, I'm just kind of using Joshua Schmidt's tweet as a way to discuss this and get my thoughts out on it, because it has been a problem with Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel for a while. I think that if it was there from the start, it'd be different. But unfortunately, that's kind of how it is, and we haven't had that for a little while. So what I'm trying to say at the end of the day is we need to have something as players to play past Diamond 1 that isn't just gems. And if it is gems, it needs to be a ton of gems. I need to have something that says, I'm the best duelist because I reached this. Not, I played a deck that won me 51% of my games over the course of like 2 days. They also need to fix their ban list. They also need to make it to where the top decks aren't so BS. But that is a lot bigger of an issue. I don't think Konami's ready for that one. I don't think they're ready for that one. 100%.